There was an old tree in the forest that was always surrounded by dead animals. It had been there for hundreds of years, and it seemed to be the only tree in the forest that never grew leaves. All the animals in the forest knew not to go near it, but humans, being humans, didn't care. One day, some hikers came across the tree. They didn't see any warning signs, so they decided to take a break and have some lunch under the tree. The tree's roots, which were as thick as pythons, started moving. They slithered around the hikers and wrapped themselves around their legs. The hikers screamed and tried to free themselves from the roots, but the more they struggled, the tighter the roots held on. The trees seemed to be alive. Its roots were its tentacles, and they were hungry. One of the hikers passed out from exhaustion, and the tree devoured him. The other hikers were too afraid to stay and watch. They ran as fast as they could away from the tree, away from the forest, and they never looked back. From that day on, no one dared to enter the forest. The locals told stories about the tree to scare their kids, and the tree kept growing, hungrier than ever. But one day, a young woman named Sarah decided not to listen to those stories. She wanted to prove to everyone that the stories were just made up. She wanted to show everyone that there was nothing to be afraid of. So she entered the forest with a backpack full of supplies and a camera crew following her. She walked past the old tree and started setting up camp on the other side of the tree. She wanted to spend the night as far away from the tree as possible. She made a fire and sat down to watch it with a big smile on her face. She was enjoying the warmth of the fire and the company of her friends. None of them were scared at all. But then the ground started shaking. The tree's roots were moving again. They slithered towards Sarah and her friends, and they wrapped themselves around their tent. Sarah and her friends screamed and tried to free themselves from the roots. But the more they struggled, the tighter the roots held on. The tent was ripped to shreds, and the tree started to devour Sarah and her friends. Sarah's camera kept rolling. It recorded the tree as it devoured Sarah and her friends, as it dipped its roots into their blood and filled itself with their life force. And that's how the legend of the hungry tree began. And that's how the forest got its name. This is the host. And if you want to hear another scary story, stay tuned.